In order to play jazz, you need to be really able to hear the chord changes. Depending on the situation, this can be a very complex problem to solve, so let's try to define it. Hearing chord changes means that you can track the root movement, detect the quality of each chord, and pick out melodies that move smoothly between the chords. So I'm going to show you my process for teaching my ears how to do all this, and I'll use a typical chord progression found in jazz. 1, 6, 2, 5, 1, 6, 2, 5, 8. The first thing you need to do is learn and memorize the movement of the bass notes. Now you can use solfege syllables if you want, or numbers. 1, 6, 2, 5, do, la, re, sol. Then, once you have those bass notes memorized, you're going to want to memorize the chord tones from the bottom up and be able to sing all of them. Do, mi, so, ti, la, di, mi, so, re, fa, la, do, so, ti, re, fa. Obviously, you want to do this when you're at a piano or some other instrument to help tune any notes that leave the parent scale, like, for example, this C sharp on the A7. So once you have the sound of the roots and the chords internalized, you're going to want to be creative here, write and then later memorize a guide tone line that moves mostly in stepwise motion. Upper structures are going to be your friend here because they give you many more options as chord tones. So in this case, I'm going to use D, C sharp, C, and B as my little guide tone melody. It sounds like this. The D serves as the ninth on a C major chord. The C sharp serves as the third on an A7 chord. The C serves as the seventh on the D minor chord, and the B is the third on a G7 chord. So once you've sung the guide tone melody by itself, then you're going to want to sing that while playing the bass notes on an instrument. Da, 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 re, ra, do, ti. Then you're going to want to flip that and sing the bass line while playing the guide tone melody. Do, la, re, sol, 1, 6, 2, 5. This will help you hear both of those things at the same time. That's the key skill here that we're trying to develop, being able to hear the bass note and the guide tones at the same time. Once you've practiced both of those enough, you should be able to do the next step, which is to sing both the bass line and the guide tones. I do that by jumping between the two. Do, re, la, di, re, do, sol, ti. That's already quite a difficult thing to do, but once you feel you are comfortable with that and you really have it down, the next thing to do is to try to find the pathway from the guide tone downward to the root. Now, I usually use arpeggios for this, but it kind of depends on what your starting tone is and how far you have to go to get to the root. Some of these pathways might be short, others might be long. Da, 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 da. Re, do, di, la, do, la, fa, re, ti, sol. If you do this process with 2 or 3 different guide tones on each chord progression, you will be well on your way to hearing the chords much better. And feel free to ask me questions in the comments down below and have fun with ear training. Who knew ear training could be so fun? I